Welcome to Alaska Matters with Chris Story. To reach Chris, call 226-3933. 226-3933. Now, giving you something to talk about, here's Chris Story.
I'm Christopher Story, your host for Great Adventures in the Last Frontier. You're in for a treat today, nothing but music, and I'm talking about first-class, first-rate Alaskan music by Andrew Vait, Homer's own Andrew Vait, living in the Northwest. I know that a lot of you have asked about whether or not Andrew will be performing anywhere near Alaska or in Alaska this year, and we'll find out here on the program. Also, later on in the program, we're going to unveil what's actually happening with that ghost ship off the coast of Alaska. We have audio that no other organization, be it news or entertainment, could get a hold of, and we have that. So they don't want you to hear this. They don't want you to know about it. What's really going on with the ghost ship off the coast of Alaska, you'll find out here on Alaska Matters. That's why this is the greatest show on Earth. I mean, literally, where else would you hear audio from a ghost ship that's coming over from Japan? Where else would you hear it? But it's only going a mile an hour, so I sent somebody out there. They went out in the Peninsula Communication helicopter. They were able to land and get us some audio from what's happening on the ship itself. Don't forget, you can be a part of the program by emailing me at story@xyz.net. That's STORY@xyz.net. Also, locate me on Facebook. Send a message. If you've got a question for Andrew that you'd like to hear me ask him during the course of the program, feel free to send me an email. 226, that's the home number, 299-7653 for a text message, or send me an email at thestory@xyz.net. Also, you'll have an opportunity to win a Blackwater Bend Espresso card. We want to send you home with one of two of those bad boys. We'll be asking you an Alaska-specific question coming up in just a little bit. We're going to listen to maybe 30, 40 seconds of one of my favorite Andrew Vait tunes, and when we come back on the other side, we'll be joined by Andrew Vait live here on Alaska Matters.
We could see the sun when we were young and raw, and it looked so small. Now we know that it's not. Well, that deception was strong, and we got big and tall. So we made our plans, and like warriors we fought and thought we'd conquer them all. We might be the ones who catch us all the stars and make some big, big plans.
Now's the time to get those construction projects lined up for this summer. From excavating to landscaping, Gregoire Construction is the one to call to get it done. Call and talk to Richard about the work you'd like to have scheduled at 399-1526. Driveways, asphalt paving, water and sewer, land clearing and landscaping. Call 399-1526, 399-1526. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Gregoire Construction.
Oh, no. I'm out of water. No problem. Call More and More, your locally owned water supplier. 24-hour service from your locally owned water company. Tired of working with an outside corporation? Want to support local business and get better service for less? Then put More and More to work for you. 235-8837. More and More is next door. 235-8837.
After this long winter, you deserve a break. Treat yourself to the joys of Alaska this summer and let Dutch Boy Landscaping take care of your lawn and yard work. Danny and his team are ready to make your property look its best. So when you see the bay is flat calm and the fish are biting, head out on the water and know your lawn's going to look its best all summer long. Dutch Boy Landscaping. Call Danny today at 235-7140. That's Dutch Boy Landscaping at 235-7140. Dutch Boy, your lawn's best friend.
Hi, folks. Jackie Ray here for the Caribou Family Restaurant. The Caribou Family Restaurant wants you to remember how happy you were at Thanksgiving, past Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day, Valentine's Day, how happy you were with the service, how happy you were with the highest quantity of food, more than you can eat every day at the Caribou Family Restaurant, how happy you were with the quality of food, how happy you were with the prices for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In fact, the Caribou Family Restaurant wants you to remember each and every time you hear or see the word happy, how happy you were with sumptuous prime rib on Friday and Saturday nights, breakfast any time of the day or night. So if you want to be happy again, stop by the Caribou Family Restaurant and be happy every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Lake Street and Pioneer Drive in downtown Homer. Check it out. Be happy every day at the Caribou Family Restaurant, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. See you here, 235-5148. Orders to go.
One in a million, or so we were told.
1 in a million or so we were told. Well, in my own mind, yeah, I'm 1 in a million. That's Andrew Vait playing right there. He's with us. He'll be up in just a moment. You want to check out his website. It's andrewvait.com. I recommend that you buy one, maybe more of his CDs. And understand, I'm telling you this because the music's that good. As we go out through the program today, you'll come to recognize that, I think, on your own. But write that down, andrewvait.com. You can pick up his CDs right there. Just click and pick. And I'd say get a couple of them. Get one for you. Get one as a gift for a family member, a loved one, what have you. If you know somebody that knows Andrew, tell them to turn on the radio to 620 right here and check it out because Andrew's coming up. Blackwater Bend Espresso is your home for gourmet coffee, tasty treats, lattes, mochas, Americanos, blenders, you name it, they make it. Blackwater Bend Espresso, not your average drip. Here's the question. As you know, Alaska is extremely hot right now. I mean, hot. The weather outside's getting warm, but we're hot all across the country. So here's your question as it pertains to television. What Alaska TV show is number one on Friday nights all across the United States? Which Alaska-based television show is number one on Friday nights? Deadliest Catch, Gold Rush, or Sarah Palin's Alaska? Deadliest Catch, Gold Rush, or Sarah Palin's Alaska. The number to call is 226-3933, 226-3933. All 7 lines are open. Tiffany's standing by. Give her something to do. 226-3933. Does Deadliest Catch outrate Gold Rush or Sarah Palin's Alaska? Which one of those do you think? Welcome, please, Andrew Vait, musical legend of the Northwest, originating here in Homer. Hi, Andrew.
Hello.
Welcome to the program. Now, growing up in Homer, Andrew Vait, does that have some impact on a musician's life, on your music?
Yeah, I think it's got to. You know, I got together with a writing friend from Miami, Florida, and he remarked, and I took note of this later, that the stories in his songs tend to take place in urban things with hard concrete and pavement and palm trees, what have you.
Yeah.
And mine tend to have more like oceans and streams and paths and dirt, and so I would say that growing up in Alaska had a lot to do with the way that I've shaped my storytelling for sure.
When did you know that you wanted to make music your life and or career? Was that always? I mean, since you were introduced to music, or did it come later?
It was kind of a gradual thing. I always came back to music. So I started, probably a lot of, I don't know, maybe a lot of kids make up words to songs when they're real little, and I don't think that was anything out of the ordinary. And then, I was under Os Kilcher out at McNeil Canyon, and he encouraged me to write my own songs, but it didn't really take hold, and it was actually when I started really playing saxophone under Bill Searle that I started to think, okay, this might be the thing for me. Mm-hmm. And I remember it was my sophomore year in high school, and I can't remember what class it was. We all went down to the computer lab, and we were supposed to use this kind of application on one of the computers to tell us what career we were supposed to choose.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And all the answers that I put in recommended that I become a musician. And at the end of the program, it tells you what you can expect to make as in your kind of chosen field. And I remember it told me to expect to make around $200 a week.
Okay.
And I remember thinking, I don't care.
Yeah. Really? So the money didn't influence.
That was kind of a telling moment for me, where it was like I had already kind of made up my mind, and I didn't even realize it, that I'm going to do this, and if I make $200 a week, I don't care. I'm just going to do it, and hopefully I'll make more than that.
It's funny, we just got an email, and I got to read this question. This person wants to know, are all musicians trying to become superstars and household names? And I would read into that question, mega rich. And tying that back to what you just said, I guess the answer is not always.
I think that there's probably a wide misconception that there's a lot of money being made in the music business. And maybe that's kind of left over from the kind of like golden era of rock and roll, when you hear about Van Halen rolling around in limousines.
That's right.
But there's not really that much money left over, I don't think. And so a lot of musicians, even big musicians, big name musicians that you probably recognize, are kind of just making a go at it and doing what they can to make ends meet. And it's kind of an awkward time in the music business, because we're trying to decide how we're going to make money from our recordings, if we're going to even make money from our recordings at all, because there are these applications popping up, Spotify, and before that Pandora, where you can literally pay a subscription and get any music you want for free.
Right.
And we've seen the numbers come in, the numbers that, the payout to artists, it's like, I think it takes between 66 and 200 some odd plays on Spotify to be paid the equal of one song download on iTunes.
Wow.
So it's really it's the business at large is in flux. But it's like that program told me in high school, you can't expect to make a lot, and we do it anyway.
Good for you. Good for you. Who is the typical Andrew Vait fan? Who comes out to see you no matter what the weather?
There's you start to see familiar faces popping up, at different shows, and I have two projects running. One that gained a very modest amount of attention locally. I put out a solo record, and that's the one that you were playing songs from.
Correct.
And then I have my rock band, and so it's kind of interesting to see. I'll have some older couples that will come out to every Eternal Fair show, which is my rock band, and I would have expected them to have gotten introduced via my solo music, but you never know what's going to grab people. But the typical crowd that the band brings in are, right now we're bringing in a lot of our friends who are musicians. We have a pretty strong connection to the professional working musical community here, which is
that's a compliment. I would assume that's something that.
Well, the guys that I'm playing with are extensively trained musically, and just have years and years and years of playing music professionally. So they're all really experienced. And then there's a scene that I'm trying to have at least a toe in, and that's the kind of hip music community where they're playing their open mics, and they're getting their write-ups in the local periodicals, and maybe they're they're doing a little bit better, or maybe they're not doing as well. But that's definitely a separate thing, where those musicians aren't trying to make a living playing music. They're doing it because it's art, and that's important to them for some to have in their lives somewhere.
There's a lot of information about Andrew Vait online at andrewvait.com. You could do like I did and go to some YouTube. I saw this one guy. When we come back, I'm going to ask him, who was this guy that I saw out there? And it was a Carhartt overall thing with no shirt on underneath, and it almost looked like he was leading the group. You know, it almost looked like he was leading the audience. I wonder if he works for Andrew. This is Andrew's song. It's called Paul and Sally's Mournful Song. We'll be right back on Alaska Matters.
Young Paul Wilson had a bit less to say. Sally Rowe was not likely to stray, but Paul preferred the company of the birds and stone. Sally was asking for his love.
On the road to Anchorage the other day, in the distance, yes, I could see the bright lights of Blackwater Bend Espresso. While my gas tank was full, I was running on empty. Blackwater Bend Espresso, just what I needed. Along with my Black Mancino, which is a quad shot Americano in a 16-ounce glass without any cream, just like God intended it. I also got a ham and cheese croissant. I'm telling you, that was the highlight of my trip. Blackwater Bend Espresso, never leave Homer without it.
Panoramic heights, spectacular ocean and mountain views, including volcanoes and incredible sunsets. Live outside of town, but less than 10 minutes from Homer. Affordable land for your dream home. These lots are priced to sell. Owners will finance, and so will First National Bank Alaska. Call Deborah at Bay Realty at 235-6183 for more information today. 235-6183, and enjoy the privacy and quiet life this wonderful subdivision offers. Or how about 52 acres next door? Celebrate nature. Set amid the rolling hills, peace and privacy can be yours on this 52-acre estate. Live well on this beautiful parcel. Moose, bear, and other wildlife are here to greet you. Come home to a secluded estate, away from the world, but within driving distance to everything. Urban farmers and ranchers will find this a true delight. Call Deborah Lysick at Bay Realty at 235-6183. When you need results, Bay Realty works.
Radio Realty is your home for all things prosperous. I'm Chris Story, inviting you to the greatest show on earth every Wednesday at 12:30 on KPEN 102 FM. If it happens to real estate, it matters to you. Learn the secrets of lasting wealth and how to become a millionaire in your own backyard.
Hey, Chris, Phil here. I just love Radio Realty, although I worry about too many people becoming prosperous. They'll stop voting for me.
Radio Realty's making waves, baby. Coming to a radio near you.
Rocks and picking up words, we believed everything we heard. We hurried down the hall. The world was the size of my room.
I'm Chris Story. You're listening to Andrew Vait. Closer to the Setting Sun is the name of the album. You can pick it up at andrewvait.com, andrewvait.com. I've got one copy. I'm going to get a couple more. In fact, I think I might get a couple just to give away here on this program in the coming weeks ahead. I suggest you not wait. Go to andrewvait.com and pick up your own copy of it. Support a local Homer boy doing well in the Northwest, doing a great job. In fact, quite a following there in the Northwest. Check him out online, andrewvait.com, and do pick up his copy of your copy of Closer to the Setting Sun. So our Blackwater Bend Espresso question. Here's the question. One Alaska TV show is number one on Friday nights across the United States. Deadliest Catch, Gold Rush, or Sarah Palin's Alaska. Of course, Sarah Palin's Alaska is no longer on the air, so that narrows it down to two, which the number one, Gold Rush. That's right, Gold Rush. Dawn and Jennifer, both of you are correct, and you're going to Blackwater Bend Espresso for your cards. Here's something that, Andrew, get this, some Alaskans are saying about the show Gold Rush. First of all, Andrew, have you seen the show?
No.
This is what some Alaskans are saying. We are gold miners, and the show makes us laugh because they're so inept. Another person said, this is just plain insulting to all the real hardworking, smart, legal miners out there. This is probably my favorite. I like it because they're idiots. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I think sometimes that's why we watch some reality television. Well, bringing closer to the Setting Sun reality for you, Andrew, what did it take to put that CD together? Is this years of your life, represent months, decades, what?
Yeah, it does. It represents a pretty significant span of time. The song that's the oldest on the record you actually just played, Paul and Sally's Mournful Song. And then, a few of the songs I wrote, as we were going into the studio. The last song on the record, Make Amends, it was the last song that came together right before we went in, which was a little over a year ago now. We went into a studio downtown here in Seattle, and we pumped it out in 5 days.
Really? Yeah. No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, we just did it all. And we were kind of working on a budget, so we had to do it fast. And so we recorded the majority of the tracks live, with all of us in the same room. So kind of what you hear, it's not like I didn't have a lot of time to do, vocal overdubs or to, like, fix things. So pretty much.
I like it just the way it is. Whatever you did, don't fix it. It's perfect. I like it.
Well, yes, we wanted, I figured, and it puts the performer in a different, kind of headspace when you know that whatever comes out of your mouth is what's going to be on the record, as opposed to, like, having a couple chances to do it and then going back and fixing it. And
I think you overthink it. Well, I don't know about you, but I mean, myself personally, I know that sometimes you can tend to overthink something as you polish and polish and polish, and you end up with something that's different than you intended when you started. So I love the rough sound, not rough, but I love the raw sound of what you ended up with. I would never have guessed, Andrew, that it was done in 5 days without overdubbing. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of the intended effect, and I think that's what a lot of, like, the classic records that you and I probably have grown to love over the years. I think a lot of them are done that way.
Who influenced you? Talk about that. Who did you listen to growing up in your house?
I was just having an email exchange with my mom. I recently dipped back into Steve Winwood, and I've been working on a cover of Back in the High Life.
Oh, great
and
song.
I remember now more clearly because my mom just reminded me of this story that we spent, a summer in Oregon. And she said she just played the cassette, Back in the High Life, just over and over and over again. So I think that burned itself probably deep somewhere in my memory banks. Going back to that stuff now, it's like it holds up. It's so good.
Yeah.
And everything goes through cycles where, like, that record, Back in the High Life, was really popular, and then it went through a phase where people probably thought it was really cheesy, but you can come back to it, and the substance is there.
Yeah.
And
well, is that important to you? Longevity of your own music? Is it important that it stand the test of time?
I would love for that to happen. Yeah. I think only time will tell.
Yeah. My prediction is that it will. I'm telling you from my own heart to you, I'm saying your music is going to stand the test of time. I remember seeing you back in, 80, maybe it was 91. I don't remember. When did you graduate?
2003.
Oh, okay. So it was 2003 or 2, somewhere in there. I think you were a senior, and you did Landslide on stage. It was just you and your guitar, and I just was just blown away, and I just thought, man, I can't wait to see what you do. And so it's fun to see it unfolding. Bon Jovi said one time, and this surprised me, he said that he wanted to be known as a writer, and I think of him as a performer. You talked about rolling around in limos and jets and whatever, 100,000 people coming out to see him, etc. And I think of him in terms of a massive performer. But he said, no, what he really wants to be remembered for is his writing. What does Andrew Vait want to be remembered for?
That's a tough question to answer on the spot. I think that I would like to leave kind of a body of work that shows an evolution. So you can look back to the songs that I put out years and years ago. I put out an EP, and everything's very kind of like wishing I was home. And then I've kind of since evolved, and things got electric, and then things got acoustic again, and things are bound to get electric again, and things are just going to continue changing. And so it would be my goal to show a marked change that will kind of follow me throughout my career.
So almost as though that your body of work would tell the story of who you are.
Sure, yeah, as things progress.
Yeah, and who you were.
As they naturally do.
Right. Well, do you write for yourself, or do you have someone in mind when you're writing a tune, or do you just go, hey, that's a catchy phrase, and then work something around it? Who do you write for?
It's pretty much what you just said. It's that's an interesting way to put it. Maybe I'll try to put that into a song, or it's usually and I have an idea, or just not even like specific words, or maybe I'll sit down and I'll play something that kind of catches my ear on guitar, and oftentimes I'll just kind of like almost like scat sing over the top of it, not even real words, and then eventually I take the sounds that I like and I find words that are similar to those sounds. And then I go back and I try to find phrases that match the words that I took from the sounds. And then eventually I get something that's more or less coherent lyrically. And that's one of the approaches I take to songs. Otherwise, I'm always saying that songs are revealing themselves to me. And, that always just kind of takes some patience. And if a song is going to completely reveal itself, it can be a very exciting feeling, and if a song isn't going to reveal itself, then it can be very frustrating.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my approach.
I can imagine. Do you get nervous when you go on stage and you just look at butterflies, or is it just something that you just can't wait to get out there in front of people and perform?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It's always been really easy for me to get in front of people and kind of do my thing.
I gotta say,
I'll get the jitters.
Do you?
I try to transfer that into, some kind of energy that I can then, give to the audience. And sometimes I'm just straight up nervous.
Yeah.
There have been times before I went on stage where I literally thought I was going to die.
I'm laughing with you because you didn't. You made it through. I interviewed Monty Davis of Joanna and Monty here several months back, and he said for 10 years straight, he vomited before every single live performance wherever they were in Alaska, around the country. Every single performance for 10 years, and he carried through. I thought that was pretty impressive. Well, Andrew, it's been a pleasure getting to know you, and I feel like, I told you this before we went on air, I feel like I got to know you by listening to Closer to the Setting Sun, your new CD, and I got to tell you, it's been a privilege and an honor to interview you here and have you be part of Alaska Matters, and I hope that you'll come back, and you might be putting on a performance here in Alaska this summer.
Yeah, I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work on getting up there, and,
Well, keep us posted. Let me know and call back into our program sometime and let us know what we can expect. Meanwhile, I'll encourage you to go to andrewvait.com and buy one of his CDs, or two or three. Buy 10. It doesn't matter. You've got to get out there and check it out. andrewvait.com is the website. Andrew, I really appreciate your time. Now, go out there and make some beautiful music.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. It's been a real pleasure. As I promised, earlier I said that we were going to reveal. Dave, do you think I'm going to get in trouble for doing this, Dave, to reveal something that no other organization, nobody's got this. Nobody's got the insight, the information to this ghost ship. Are you aware of this ghost ship, Dave?
Well, with all the resources that you've spent sending people out there, I figured we'd better use it.
Well, the vessel's name is Royu Un Maru, and I'm adding the R to it. I don't think the Japanese would pronounce it that way.
No.
It's believed to be a 150 to 200-foot long ship. It's been identified as coming from Hokkaido, Japan. There's no immediate concerns of grounding. However, the biggest concern is that it's in the shipping lanes. And so, I don't know. Should I play the audio or not? I mean, this is big. In other words, the government is covering up something huge. They don't want you to know this. They don't even know that I have this audio. We've discovered who is, in fact, on board this ship, this abandoned ghost vessel.
Wait a minute,
I'm getting satellite feed in now. Do we have it? Can we go to the audio?
Yes, you can.
All right, we go to the audio now. This is on board the Rairu Un Maru. Oh, my God. It's actually, yes, the Kobayashi Maru, which is from the 1982 film Star Trek Return of Khan. That went over much, much better than I expected it to, Dave. As soon as I read this story this morning, I was like, Kobayashi Maru, why does that ring such a bell? Khan is actually on board. He's headed towards Alaska. We need Captain Kirk. Were you a fan of Star Trek?
I didn't see that one, I guess.
Tiffany is telling me that fell flat on its face. That was a big build-up for nothing. Yeah,
you're going to have a tough time getting the copter next time, buddy.
That's right. Dave Becker's never going to let me do that again. And, I could just see that. Well, it's about anticipation sometimes, not necessarily the steak, but the sizzle. Speaking of steak, we'll be talking about my vegan ventures tomorrow on Radio Realty. It's been 6 days as of today that I've gone meatless, and I'm approaching my 7th day tomorrow. I set out with 2 goals. 1 was to lose weight. 2 was to have extra and more energy. I'm going to tell you that one of them went down and one of them went up. Tomorrow we'll reveal it on Radio Realty. That's the second greatest show on earth. Dave Webb is your engineer. Tiffany Story is your call screener, taking your calls. I want to thank Blackwater Bend and all of our sponsors for making this show possible. Go to AndrewVait.com, AndrewVait.com. Pick up 1 or more of his CDs. Really, you won't regret it. You've heard just a sampling of this wonderful music here. And never, ever forget that Alaska matters, and so do you.
The Peninsula's home for unforgettable favorites. Great listening, 620 AM, KGTL, Homer.